Solomon here. Good morning, good afternoon, or good evening, depending upon where you're listening from. I hope everyone's safe and everyone's doing well. It's 10:33 a.m., Friday, April 17th, 2020. Currently sipping on a nice chai latte that I made from scratch with a little bit of Oregon Trail and some milk and a little bit of espresso from Cafe Bustelo, courtesy of the can. Anyhow, let's dive into the markets here. Dow Jones currently at 23,856, increase of 1.36%. The NASDAQ currently sitting at 8,791, an increase of 0.39%. And the S&P is sitting at 2,839, an increase of 1.42%. Move along to precious metals. I'll start with silver. Silver is sitting at $15 and about 10 to 18 cents. It's fluctuating still a little bit here. Down 1.90%. And let me just pull up gold. The per ounce cost of gold currently is sitting at $1,688. It's like a decrease of 1.69%. And we'll move along to the crypto markets as well, which will be relevant with the next coming article, what we're going to discuss a little bit here today. Bitcoin is at $7,085.51, which is an increase of 0.92%. Ethereum, or ETH, is at $171.04, increase of 0.55%. And XRP Ripple is at about 18 cents, almost 19 cents, 0.189206 to be specific, so almost at 19 cents. Increase of 0.04%. So really everything, even in the top, looks like the top 20, pretty much in the green here. So far so good in terms of crypto. Now, speaking with crypto, if you're not aware, basically with the process of how Bitcoin is mined, you have hardware rigs that do computations and something called hash rate, which is essentially the computing power that's allocated towards the network that runs the Bitcoin network, or the SHA-256 protocol. So China currently has the lion's share of the hash rate. This is the closest thing I could pull up. It's around 65 to 70, 71%. So China does have the lion's share of the hash rate currently. Now that's interesting, kind of segueing into what we're going to talk about here next, which is China actually backing it's a state-owned bank offering a test interface for PBOC, central bank digital currency. And this is from CoinDesk from April 15th. It's an article by Wolfie Zhao. So I want to read here a little bit and give a little bit of interjection along the way. So the Agricultural Bank of China, ABC, which is one of the nation's 4 state-owned banking giants, is trialing a test interface for the country's central bank digital currency, CBDC. Screenshots of an internal mobile application, developed by the ABC, initially seen circulating on WeChat on Tuesday and later verified by CoinDesk, shows the banking giant has already developed a front-end interface of how users could potentially interact with China's CBDC, also known as DC/EP. The move hints at the acceleration of the development and deployment work of rolling out the DCEP. CoinDesk exclusively reported last year that the People's Bank of China had been developing the system with the involvement of the country's 4 big state-owned banks, as well as payments giants Ant Financial and Tencent. The testing application, which is also available for download on iOS and Android mobile devices via a site on ABC's domain, offers a peek into the features that will be offered through DCEP Wallet, including paying via a QR code, receiving and sending payments, and initiating transactions by touching another user's phone, which probably now with social distancing is a good idea. So don't want to transfer too many germs or viruses there along the way. So phone to phone, as long as the phone's clean, I guess. Just sanitize some alcohol swabs for that phone. Moving along, so application also offers users a registration option. However, it appears the registration function is so far in test mode, as it only allows whitelisted users to complete the registration process. That said, the registration step shows the test is currently being carried out in 4 Chinese cities, including Zhongnan, Suzhou, Chengdu, and Shenzhen. And if I butchered those to Chinese out there, I do apologize. I did the best I could there with the with the pronunciation. So what do you think? What are your thoughts, guys? Do you think this is a good move in terms of crypto in general for adoption, that we have a large player in China, major superpower, which seems to be slowly putting a little bit more of these puzzle pieces together to roll out this central bank-backed digital currency and make this something of more of a reality in terms of, again, adoption and more widespread use, especially given the current situation and the move away from cash, which it seems like that's going to be an inevitable possibility with the direction that we're going. So what are your thoughts? Is this, you think, a good thing? Do you think this has negative implications, obviously, for privacy concerns because everything can be tracked? So it's sort of a double-edged sword, right? So your thoughts? And moving along a little further here beyond the crypto news, we're going to touch a little bit upon, there's an article I found, and this is through Acorns, which is an investment app, and it was in regards to real estate, and I myself was interested in and have been poised to take the examination, which ended up being canceled at the examination center because of the shutdown. And with that being said, obviously we're going into the spring and summer, so with the current situation, with just the general uncertainty, the real estate market obviously is a big point of contention here. So this is a real estate article from Sam Becker from Grow, and titled "Real Estate Expert Answers 6 Coronavirus FAQs from Homeowners and Renters." This is from April 13th. So even under normal circumstances, just reading here, keeping a roof over your head is a top financial priority. But the coronavirus has complicated the situation for both homeowners and renters. Millions of Americans are worried about whether or not they'll be able to make their rent, no kidding, or mortgage payments. And they also have logistical questions around whether stay-at-home orders and social distancing guidelines will make it difficult to obtain a mortgage, sell their home, or move. To get some answers, Grow talked to Chris Salviati, a housing economist at rental marketplace Apartment List, and Ben Mises, the founder and CEO of Clever Real Estate, a service that connects prospective buyers with real estate agents. Mises is also a Missouri-based real estate agent. Below, they offer their advice on some frequently asked questions about how the coronavirus's impact on real estate renters and the housing market. Question number 1, how could the pandemic affect the real estate market? Quote, the most immediate effect on the housing market will be a near total pause on moving activity, end quote, says Salviati. Mises concurs, quote, the housing market will likely slow down drastically while people are sheltered in place and people's job and financial security is uncertain, end quote. A recent Clever report found that many people who plan to sell their home this year are already backtracking on their plans. More than half, 55%, of homeowners, end quote, who plan to sell their home in the next 12 months either took their home off the market or are holding off on listing for sale due to COVID-19, Mises says. And on the buying side, 8 in 10, quote, are delaying purchasing or planning to make lowball offers, end quote, because of the outbreak. Once the crisis subsides, Salviati says the housing market should bounce back quickly. End quote, the economic instability occurring right now is not rooted in the housing market, and the long-run fundamentals of the housing market have not changed in a substantial way, end quote, he says. But younger, lower-income folks could see more negative effects in the form of, quote, greater competition for affordable housing in both the rental and for sale markets, end quote, Salviati says. And ongoing, quote, economic uncertainty is also likely to put home ownership further out of reach for many younger millennial and Gen Z renters, end quote. Yeah, obviously, I mean, if you have money lying sort of on the sidelines with the uncertainty right now, with the job market, the prospects of everything going on, are you really wanting to make that move and put a substantial amount of cash down for a down payment and make that leap? with the hopes that things are going to improve, or are you going to play it conservative and just keep that money, keep it in the piggy bank, keep it in your pocket for a rainy day as a contingency, because who knows what could happen. There could be another spike in the next few months, kind of a rebound effect. And then number 2 here, and this is from the article again, is buying a home a smart money move right now? Whether or not it's wise to purchase a home given the circumstances will depend completely on your individual circumstances, experts say. Quote, if you have enough in savings to cover a down payment and still be comfortable if you were to lose your job or take a pay cut, buying in the next few months right now might be worth the investment as prices are dropping, end quote, says Mises. The housing market should bounce back within 24 months at worst, he expects, so buying when prices are low is a good idea if you can afford it. Yeah, that's the big question, right? Although prices might fall in the short term, it's only smart for you to buy if you're secure money-wise, Salviati says. Quote, it could be best to delay any home buying plans until you have more confidence in your financial stability, end quote. If you decide to delay your purchase, keep padding your savings and stay on top of your credit score, as both will help you later on when you do decide to search again. Now that segues perfectly in terms of the credit score. And now banks are increasingly tightening up their requirements in terms of credit and trying to mitigate their risk, if you want to call it that. So, and this is a recent article at CNBC, JP Morgan Chase, talking about how they're going to raise mortgage borrowing standards as economic outlook darkens. And I think this is very telling. So I'm just going to shoot out a little bit here with this article and then go off from there. JP Morgan Chase, the country's largest lender by assets, is raising borrowing standards this week for most new home loans as the bank moves to mitigate lending risks stemming from the novel coronavirus disruption. From Tuesday, customers applying for a new mortgage will need a credit score of at least 700 and will be required to make a down payment equal to 20% of the home's value. Wow. The change highlights how banks are quickly shifting gears to respond to darkening U.S. economic outlook and stress in the housing market after measures to contain the virus put 16 million people out of work and plunged the country into recession. Quote, due to the economic uncertainty, we are making temporary changes that will allow us to more closely focus on serving our existing customers, end quote. Amy Bonita Bibas, let me see if I can try that again. Bonita Bibas, Chief Marketing Officer for JP Morgan Chase's home lending business, told Reuters. Not sure, just that combination of vowels and that sequence is a little tricky. Anyway, the bank was the 4th largest U.S. mortgage lender in 2019, according to industry publication Inside Mortgage Finance. The changes should help JP Morgan reduce exposure to borrowers who unexpectedly lose their job, suffer a decline in wages, or whose home loss whose homes lose value. The bank said the change will also free up staff to handle a surge in mortgage refinance requests, which are taking longer to process due to staff working from home and non-essential businesses being closed. Refinancing requests jumped to their highest level in more than a decade last month as average rates on a 30-year fixed-rate mortgage, the most popular home loan, fell to new or near record lows, according to data from the Mortgage Bankers Association, MBA. JP Morgan would not disclose the current minimum requirements for its various mortgage products, but the average down payment across the housing market is around 10%, according to the MBA. The new credit standards do not apply to JP Morgan's roughly 4 million existing mortgage customers or to low and moderate income borrowers who qualify for its DREA Maker. I'm not sure if that should actually say Dream Maker, but DREA Maker, DREA Maker product, which requires a minimum 3% down payment and 620 credit score. And just to give a little bit of quantitative data to that, so we're in a housing market which is a little on the less expensive side or more reasonable side, looking at Tampa, so a couple of these markets I have experience with. The median home in Tampa is close to about $250,000. Now, to give an idea, 3% down would be $7,500. And if you're looking, and again, based upon $250,000 purchasing price, and if you're looking at 20% down, that's $50,000. So I'm not sure if right now a lot of people are wanting to outlay that much money and do it confidently with the, just kind of the trepidation or just with the obvious uncertainty with everything going on right now. Now, if you're going to a market that is not so reasonable, looking at Boston, so Median price is about 700,000. So just for the sake of computation, we'll say 750K, which again, 750K is pretty conservative. I mean, some places such as Cambridge, I mean, if you're talking an actual single family home, not a townhouse, not a condo, you're talking upwards of $1 million easily to even enter into the market. So there's definitely a pretty big barrier to entry. So using 750K, again for Boston as an example, 750K, 3% down would be $22,500. And if based upon Chase's new standards here for the 700 credit score and the 20% down, that's $150,000. So again, I'm not sure how many people have that kind of money sitting around, and if they do, I'm not sure if they would outlay that money without hesitation, most certainly right now with everything going on. So I don't know, what do you guys think? Do you think there is, in a way, any kind of benefit, any kind of silver lining to what's going on? I know I used to work for it was a customer service job for a major hotel, which I'm sure is probably hurting right now, one of the two large hotel sort of conglomerates. And what they did, they trained you physically at their location, at their call center, and then they would send you home with it's like a small little box. I think it was called Citrix, and you would basically telecommute, and obviously they would save a lot of money on the overhead. And a lot of the customer service jobs have been outsourced, and even the ones that are within the United States, they're doing that. That's what the move is, so they can minimize operational cost, overhead, and they can have the employees just work remotely from home. Given the fact that so many of these jobs right now, office work, people are doing that in a telecommuting capacity, do you think there is any kind of a benefit to what's going on with the real estate market in terms of kind of like arbitrage? So if a lot of these positions, if there's the fear that this could happen again, if they're being changed to like a telecommuting job or something that's just work from home, do you think there's going to be such a need for people to move into these large metropolitan areas and pay these exorbitant amounts of rent and these mortgages for houses in these areas that they don't physically have to be there for the most part if they could work remotely? Could that be, you think, a possible advantage to the situation? I don't know, just something to ponder. Hey, Solomon ponder. Just let me know what you think. I'm gonna probably wrap this up at this point. So just want to say, everybody, stay safe, be careful out there, practice your social distancing. You know what you've heard probably a million times, but yeah, everybody, just stay safe out there. Hope this finds you well, and until next time. And you know what? I'm gonna do something here. One of my friends, he sent me something, so I'm just gonna read off. Since this is Solomon's Ponderings, let's see if I can read this quote from Solomon, King Solomon here. So here it is. Happy is the man that findeth wisdom, and the man that getteth understanding. For the merchandise of it is better than the merchandise of silver, and the gain thereof than fine gold. She is more precious than rubies, and all the things that can be compared unto her. Length of day is in her right hand, and in her left hand riches and honor. Her ways are ways of pleasantness, and all her paths are peace. Alright guys, if this is useful to you, you found this content of value, like, subscribe, share, and like I said, drop me in a comment. Let me know what you think. What are your thoughts? Just in general, how are things going for you out there? So again, hopefully everything's going well. Stay safe, and until next time. Alright, bye.